Alright, hello everybody, welcome to Livestream under the Moonshine number 228 tonight. Tonight, guys, I will be doing my first play ever, my first look at a visual novel called Crimson Gray. Something about a young man suffering from severe depression who loses his whole purpose in life, but then he begins to see the world in a different light. And he meets a girl, a very special girl, who, from watching the trailer, looks like she might be pretty freaking evil. How you doing, Karumi? Now, before you guys scoff at this visual novel, if we look at the reviews, guys, it has over 125 reviews, and right now, this visual novel is getting 96% positive reviews. So a very, very high rating here on Steam. The visual novel does come in at $10 in US currency. And if this is good, guys, maybe I'll go ahead and purchase the sequel, which just came out not too long ago. Came out earlier this month. Crimson Gray Dusk and Dawn is a new sequel that just came out a few weeks ago. And right now it's getting 100% positive reviews. And it looks like it is a continuation of this visual novel. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this, guys. I hope it's a good one. It looks to be good, especially if you go by the reviews here. So I think this is a pretty short visual novel. I think we're going to be done with it in around 2 hours, if not less. How you doing, rock and roll? Welcome to the stream. And whether the story ends in tragedy or happiness depends on your choices. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we? As you can see, I haven't played it even 1 minute yet. How you guys doing tonight? Welcome to Livestream on the Moonshine number 228. Hopefully this is a good one. Christian, why don't you put your headset on, dude? Oh my god. Those sound effects, man. All right. That music was loud, damn. Alright, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me or if the music's still too loud. Let me know. Alright. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and start. Let me know, guys, if the music's still too loud. Alright, we already unlocked an achievement. Definitely romance. Anyway, John had always thought of himself as a stable person. Stability worked out well when he was just trying to let out the little things to get him down Or wait a minute. Stability worked out well when he was just trying to not let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when when everything was crumbling down around him. When the entire world started seeming gray and flat, then he began wondering if all that stability would kill him, and if he would care, even when it did. There weren't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just... Classmate number 1. Hey, what are you doing spacing out, man? And then classmate number 2. You're a real head case these days, John. You gonna float away on us? Sorry, just distracted. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with a happy-go-lucky person he had been at the beginning of high school. These days, they joked about him being no fun at all, but it was more than a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be all alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us? I think she is. Who is that anyway? Lizzie Doss. I think in our year, right? John doesn't she have math with you or something? It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. Wow, pretty girl. She looked the same as all the other girls at their school. Shyer, maybe. She could probably hear them talking about her. He wanted to say something, but he just kept silent. Damn, she really is staring. Is she staring at us or John? I think it's him, haha. Do you think she's a stalker? And Lizzie... Yeah, those are some crazy eyes, haha. You better watch out, John. You're a real sad sack these days, but you can do better than her. And I say, shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why did he have to open his mouth now, of all times? But he couldn't let them keep talking about her like that. People called him creepy and crazy all the time, and he hated it. So did we switch over to her point of view now, or what? But after those two words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when something mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together. I just read that. What's wrong with you, man? Don't say things like that about people you don't know. She's just hanging out up here like we are. No, she's giving some serious crazy eyes, dude. Oh, just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything at all to you. Sheesh, okay, man. You think she's gonna fall in love with you? As her handsome protector or something? Ha ha ha, that'd be just like John. You want to talk to the crazy girl? Be our guest. We're headed back to class, man. Don't wait up, man. The way her eyes moved, John thought she was focused on him so intensely that she might not have even heard what the others said. Did it even bother her? He wished he could be like that, instead of the smallest of things sending him crashing into a state of worthlessness. But maybe she was like him, just capable of hiding it better. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her. Look at her eyes. She's like, huh? Hey, I'm sorry about them. They can be assholes sometimes. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you, okay? And she doesn't say anything. John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She had been fine without him. He had just made everything even worse. There had been something hard in her eyes, a strength he just didn't have. He had probably been projecting all his weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him. She wasn't broken. She could shrug off the things his friends had said and get on with her life. At least that meant she could shrug off his annoyance too. She'd probably just forget all about him. Man, this guy really does feel down on himself, don't he? And she's still standing there saying nothing. Oh, she finally says, "Thank you. You're so kind. Such a kind person. The kindest person. The only person." Oh my god. The music, guys. How you doing, Pranav? The music here is already creepy. Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that creepy ass music? Oh my god. And look at the look in her eyes. Look at that face. Does that not look like an evil face? You don't sound a bit like a girl. I know, I just tried to change my voice a little bit, Pranav. Alright. I found you. I finally found you. I 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 found you. Oh my god. This gal is creepy. I think John's a hell of a lot better off without her. Look at that shit. Yeah. Crimson Gray. Alright. The teacher's voice was incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking it up on some level. He wasn't sure how, but even though he stumbled through every day, he was doing okay in school. He could just seem normal whenever he wanted to. It just didn't feel worth it. That was almost the worst part. He seemed normal even though nothing was normal anymore. It wouldn't ever be normal again. What did Miss Smith say? High functioning depression? Such an awful, empty phrase. Well, at least class was over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignment, and then fall unconscious. At least for a few hours he could... Oh, she's back. She's back, guys. And then he became aware of her, and she was watching him. Maybe she wanted to thank him? No, he was being stupid. He'd done nothing worth thanking. More likely, she wanted something from him. Or most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him at all, and he was imagining the whole thing. She was still staring, though, and not saying anything. Alright, Pranav, have a good one, man. Ignore her, lose her in the hallways, glare at her, smile at her, or go talk to her. Well, this seems like kind of an evil bitch, guys. I'm not so sure that I should, like, ignore her or glare at her. I don't know that I want to get close to her either. Oh my god. Glare at her or go talk to her, smile at her, lose her in the hallways. What do you guys think? What do you think, Kurumi? Prano says go talk to her. Alright, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Remember, guys, if we don't make the right choices in this, we could wind up dead. Alright, go talk to her. Let's find out what happens. Can I help you? Again, look at her eyes. They're like, huh? Again, she doesn't say anything. If this is about before, look, I'm sorry. I just wanted to help. And she doesn't say anything again. She looked really uncomfortable. Of course, she probably hated him as much as everyone else does. Drowning in shame, John decided to just cut his losses. Aw, man, that's sad. This guy is so down on himself. Like, this guy has, like, zero self-esteem. Have you guys noticed that? This John guy, this main character in this game that we're making decisions for, has, like, zero fucking self-esteem. Jesus Christ, it's sad. Damn. Well, sorry to bother you now. I'll be going. She doesn't say anything yet. He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Miss Smith getting mad at him again. Miss Smith was one of the only people John could focus on. He wasn't sure how much good she actually did him outside of prescribing medicine, but at least she tried to help. Miss Smith. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? Huh. A boy your age ought to be more interested in girls. Are you dating somebody? No, I can't focus on people. Oh, maybe I could prescribe you something for that. We don't have any on hand now, but I could get it quickly. That's an advantage of having a Kyotech in town. I don't want to take it, this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The Pexitine? But that's the first one you've really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is always so gray. Voices just seem to echo. Can't I go back to a generic medicine, please? John, you really need to understand that you are deeply clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should, under no condition, go off of your medication. I don't know why I keep saying the same thing over and over again, guys. I don't know what's going on. When you're getting used to the medication, there can be some initial side effects. Sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better, okay? Okay. All he heard was that he was too damn broken for any drug to fix him. He was so worthless, even the newest drugs from Koitek couldn't do anything for him. Man, this guy is in sad shape. His fucking depression is bad. I'll renew your Paxitine prescription and see about getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this one out, John. Now why don't you go lie down over there and we can begin our session. Good. Now get comfortable. Did anything special happen during the day today? No, it was a normal day. The therapy session quickly fell away into a meaningless buzz, and for a short time at least, he didn't feel the emptiness. Finally, or too soon, it was all over. Miss Smith told him he was doing well and sent him on his way. John slumped back home. The house was empty like it always was. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. Well, right there, guys, that can kind of tell you why he might be a little bit depressed. Mom and Dad broke up. His mom... Do you guys have any idea how attached most kids are to their mother? So he's living with Dad. Mom moves away. And he never sees his fucking father because his father's working all the goddamn time. Trying to pay the bills. There you go, guys. That probably has something to do with why he's so goddamn depressed. That's just a guess. Poor kid. He did his homework and he ate. He cleaned the dishes and he sat down in front of the TV and just stared at it without even turning it on. Yep, it's in the description, man. Somehow he dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. The routine used to be comforting, but now it was starting to erode his sanity. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second, he thought he saw a girl out the window. But no, there was nothing. Of course there wasn't. He really wasn't. He really was losing it. Another day. He had to face it somehow. It seemed impossible until the moment he finally stumbled into class. School was the usual mindless buzz. There was a job fair announced in third period, as if that meant anything at all. Almost everyone in their school would either go to work at Koitek, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed. John wondered which of these would happen to him, but from a distance, as if he was thinking about some person he barely knew. His grades were good enough to get into Koitek, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have enough energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could imagine was just surviving the damn day. But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't even want him. Well, there you go. There's another reason for depression. His mother doesn't even, at least he thinks or feels that way anyway. He feels like his mother doesn't even want to be part of his life. That's sad. Once he graduated, there'd be no way he could stay with either his mother or his father. What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless? Sit there on the street begging for change until one night he just froze to death? Damn, this guy's having some morbid thoughts. Like, that would be really fucking hard, guys. To be a teenager and worried to death, already seeing your mom move away. Your parents probably fought a lot. Your mom moves out. Your dad's now having to work extra hours probably, and you never see him because he's working all the time. And now you're sitting there thinking that your mom doesn't want you, and when you graduate, your dad ain't going to want you in the house, and that neither one of them are going to care, even if you're sitting in the street and you freeze to death. I mean, if you were a teenage boy and that's really what you thought, I can see why this kid's fucking depressed. Poor guy, I feel sorry. Guys, if you guys are watching and you feel sorry for John in this novel, put a 1 in the chat, guys. Give me a 1 in chat if you guys feel sorry for this poor kid. Let me know. Well, maybe freezing to death on the side of the street, begging for coins, is all he deserved. And the teacher says, "John, are you alright?" "Sorry, sir. I'm paying attention, honestly." "I didn't ask that. I asked if you were alright." I'm fine, okay?" "Well, be sure to talk to the counselor if you're feeling bad, alright? We're lucky to have someone like Miss Smith with us." He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons, but if people were starting to think that something was wrong, his self-control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker in between periods. There was more Paxatine in there, but he had an extra dose left for the day. His locker was on the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sitting in the middle of his locker. Oh man, somebody's sweet, right? A piece of paper in the middle of his locker. Cheer up, buddy. The stream is becoming depressing. Yeah, I know, right? Well, this visual novel is kind of depressing, Parnov. That was all it said. Nothing on the backside, no other clues. It looked like a girl's handwriting, but who left it? Could it be that strange girl? Or maybe it's his counselor? Miss Smith? And John says, "Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker?" Classmate says, "Huh? Did something get stolen, man? There's way too many guys around here for me to notice." "It might have been a girl leaving me a note." Oh, wow, like a love note? Keep dreaming, John. If you think any girl is gonna love your sorry ass. That sounds like a guy in high school, though. Yeah, he is depressed, Pranav. No, of course no one could love him. So you didn't see anyone? Alright, thanks, man. Hey, John, are you gonna tell me she's a Canadian, too? I'm headed back to class. I'll see you later. And she's really hot, right? I mean, your imaginary girlfriend. She sounds amazing, John. So they're giving him shit about his imaginary girlfriend right now, saying he's imagining getting this note from in a girl's handwriting saying to cheer up. I mean, guys, it doesn't matter if the kid's depressed or not. You guys know teenage boys are going to tease each other like that. So maybe we can't really hear the tone in this classmate's voice. It might be really, like, asshole-ish, or it might be just teasing him, you know? It's hard to say. We don't really know if he's being a dickhead or if he's just teasing him. I don't know. From the sounds of his depression, he's probably being a dick. John knew he should probably just take some more Paxatine and head back to class, but he was still holding on to the paper. He wasn't even sure why. It really could just be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. If so, it would probably be followed by another fake note, asking him to come out under that stupid confession tree, where they'd let him wait and then just laugh at him. Aww. But then, just for a moment, he saw the girl watching him. Wait, could it have been her? By the time he got to class, John had a new theory, that the girl felt sorry for him. He must have looked pretty pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions enough to feel some pity for him. The rest of the school day passed in more about a blur than usual. He might be delusional, but part of John still hoped that this note wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker, not daring to imagine anything at all, and yet there was another paper waiting there on his locker for him. When you were in high school, did they tease you? Nope, not in high school, man. They shouldn't say those things about you. So a note left on his locker now saying they shouldn't say those things about you. Oh shit. It didn't even look like the same person's handwriting. The first had been beautiful handwriting. This was a hurried scrawl. If it was all a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going with this prank. He had already been beating himself up over saying the wrong thing, so this was just too much for John. He headed straight home to get some sleep before he just completely cracked. This poor kid, man. The next day, John went as early as possible and approached his locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. Oh my! There was no note this time, but there was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil, set in the exact center of the bottom of his locker. John just stared at it for a while, and then he slipped it into his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew he would be far too early. Okay, right here, guys, I have to ask a question. It doesn't say, did he slip it into his pants pocket or like a shirt pocket? Because I'm hoping he didn't put this chocolate in his, like, front pants pocket. Because, guys, you guys can tell me what's going to happen to a chunk of chocolate in foil if you put that in your pants pocket. Christian? What will happen to a piece of chocolate wrapped in foil if you put it in your pants pocket in school? It'll melt. It'll melt, yeah, and make a big mess. Yeah. So I'm hoping he put it, like, in a shirt pocket. Less chance of that. It doesn't say, though. I mean, we don't want John to get picked on even more, right? There was no way he could eat it right now. And if it was a prank, they might have slipped a damn laxative or something inside of it. That was the kind of thing his friends thought was funny. Man, this poor kid. But if it was a girl, if it was that girl. It didn't matter now. What mattered was that someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get in whenever they wanted. That could be a real problem. Yep, somebody knows his locker combination, sounds like. I didn't know they had combinations. Like some schools that don't even have combinations. He knew he should come up with a solution before tomorrow. But what? Alright, another choice, guys. Tell a teacher, tell Mrs. Smith. Try to keep watch on the locker. Replace the lock, or leave a note. It doesn't say leave a note saying what. They don't really give us a lot of information. Leave a note, that could be anything. Leave a note saying what? I assume the note would say like leave me alone. Maybe if we choose leave a note it'll give us another choice. I don't know. I mean, leave a note, I have a hard time choosing that when I don't know what kind of note it's gonna be. Tell a teacher. From my experience in high school, I think telling a teacher is not really going to help. In fact, it may make things worse. Tell Mrs. Smith. Try to keep watch on the locker. Replace the lock. What do you guys think? Damn, man. I don't know. I guess let's try to keep watch of the locker and see if we can figure out who's doing it. I have a feeling if we replace the lock, they're just gonna get inside anyway. They're gonna watch him as he unlocks it or whatever and figure out the combination out the same way they did the first time. I mean, obviously whoever got his combination figured it out with ease the first time, so he replaces the lock. They're just gonna do the same thing. And I mean, nowadays, hell, you could probably zoom in on him from a far distance with like a smartphone. You know, you could probably use your camera and zoom in on him from behind and figure out the combination. I don't know. No, it does in front of. Let's try to watch. John spent the whole day near the locker or hanging out in the hallway, trying to catch a glimpse of someone messing with his locker. He didn't see anyone, but there weren't any new messages either. Periodically through the day, he felt certain that someone was watching him, however, but he could never tell who. So because he's watching his locker, they're not going to go and do anything and let him see him. Kind of makes sense. I should have guessed that would happen. John lingered at school until he was basically the last student there, and he saw no one. When he finally went home, though, the sense of being watched just intensified until he went to sleep. And this is kind of creepy and sad. When he woke up the next day, he felt a little bit better. Things would be fine so as long as he kept everything in perspective. Maybe. Making an effort to set the mystery of the locker aside, John went to his friends to the rooftop for lunch. They spread out on one side, enjoying the sight of the trees below. And then, midway through the meaningless conversation, John noticed that Lizzie was watching him from the far side of the roof. Her gaze was even more intense than ever before, so he uncomfortably tried to ignore her and focus on the conversation of his friends. Classmate number 1 says, "Looks like the confession tree is in full bloom, huh? You really believe those stories about true love and all that?" "It works, man. I got a buddy who just graduated. He swears he got so much pussy confessing under that tree." "Well, if he kept doing it, then it's not true love, no, is it?" "Oh, come on. People have been confessing under the tree for years. Do you seriously think everyone would confess under the tree if it didn't work?" "Nah, man. I think it's a tree of lust. It doesn't guarantee true love. it just guarantees that you're going to get laid. That's probably more truth than true love. If that was true, way more guys would be into dating under the tree. But it's mostly girls from what I've seen. What do you think, John? I don't know. Aw, don't be that way. You dream of a girl confessing to you under that tree, don't you? Yeah, like that crazy stalker chick. It'd make your heart go a-flutter if she confessed to you, wouldn't it? So they're teasing him. They're teasing this poor kid about this girl while he sees her stalking him, basically, watching him. How you doing, Orange One? Welcome, man. That tree is magic, man. I'm telling you. Even a sad sack like you could get lucky if you confessed under that tree. Oh, don't be stupid. It's just a tree, John says. So to catch you up, Orange One, we have John, a very depressed kid in high school. His friends are teasing him. At least he has a couple of friends, but I think maybe they're just friends to tease him and laugh at him. I don't know. Anyway, this kid's really depressed. His mother and father broke up. He feels like his mother doesn't want anything to do with him. And he goes home every day and his father's working late hours. So he rarely sees his father as well. And now he's got this girl like stalking him, watching him all the time. And probably leaving him notes as well. She left him a chocolate in his locker. She has his locker combination. And I think it's her anyway. We don't know for sure. But somebody knows his locker combination and was leaving him notes to cheer up and I don't know. That's about all that's happened so far, though. And classmate number 2 says, whoa, someone has their panties in a twist, because John told him to shut up about the tree or whatever. I'm telling you, everyone goes there too. Only because people like you keep telling these stories. There's nothing magic about that goddamn tree. People just believe it's special because everybody keeps saying it is. Girls think the tree is romantic, so of course they're more likely to agree with that. And guys would have to turn someone down in front of an audience. That's all it is. Well, shit, man, what's wrong with you today? With an attitude like that, you're never gonna get a girl, John. Ha ha ha, you insulted the tree. It'll cock block you now. Ha 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 ha. Oh man, that sounds like high schoolers. That does totally sound like high school kids, though. High school boys. I'm at work, but we don't have any patients at the moment, so it's chill time. Nice, man. And the other kids laugh, his other friends laughing as well. So now he's back in Miss Smith's office. That day, John couldn't get to his therapy appointment fast enough. Mrs. Smith smiled at him when he came in, but immediately saw that he was unhappy. Are you okay, John? Perhaps you should be on a stronger formulation, on a stronger prescription. No, I'm not okay. Well, our session should make you feel better. Lie down and get comfortable. Miss Smith, does Paxitine have any visual side effects? Oh, I hope not. Koitek has the highest of standards for every drug that it puts out, and Paxitine is nearing its final clinical trials. Are you suddenly having vision problems? John laid back and stared at the window. Was he really seeing differently, or was all this in his head? He stared for a long time before he finally opened his mouth and just started talking. Everything just feels so gray. John, so you are having vision problems. Not literally gray, just the sky today. I remember when I was younger, I always thought clouds were beautiful. Now it's just like there's nothing there. Nothing that matters. I look up into the sky and I just don't care. That sounds more likely to be a mental issue then. Why don't you get more relaxed and talk to me about it? Taking a deep breath, John did his best. As usual, after talking with Miss Smith for long enough, he felt Not better necessarily, but at least he didn't feel miserable. Their session went by in a flash, and then he had to head home. He shuffled through his routine easily enough, slept fitfully, and then returned to school barely even more rested than before he slept. But when he arrived, he found a huge crowd standing and staring. Oh no. Oh no, what happened? He's got a huge crowd at school staring at him. What happened? Oh, what's going on? And the teacher says, do you know that 3 students like to confess under... Wait a minute. The teacher says, you know that tree that students like to confess under? The words made John shiver even though he wasn't entirely sure why. He shifted to look through the crowd, and then he saw it. What? It got chopped down? Parts of the tree were still... Oh, it burned down. Parts of the tree were still burning, but the rest was char and ashes coated the ground near it. His throat was dry, as if all the ashes were filling it. Oh no, his friends are gonna think that he did it, because he kind of got onto his friends about that tree is just bullshit or whatever. I guess that's why everybody's staring at him. Do they think he burned the tree down? Wow, what happened? And the teacher says, the cops are coming to check it out, but the shop teacher said it looked like arson. Someone covered the tree in gasoline and burned it down. Whoa. See, this is why we need cameras. I've been telling the principal for years, but he doesn't listen to me. No one thinks. The words slid off his mind, and John turned away without even saying goodbye. Not entirely sure what he was doing, he stumbled right to his locker. When he opened up his locker, he discovered a folded note set in the exact center, like always. He stared at it for a long moment before unfolding it with his trembling hands. I didn't like that tree either. It's that girl, guys. It's got to be that girl. This is getting creepy, man. Yeah, that girl's a little bit too into him. He stared at the words as if they were written in a foreign language, wishing he could avoid understanding the conclusion. I didn't like that tree either. It was her. It had to be. None of his friends would be that insane. And what would be the point of a prank like that? But what was the point for her? What did she think she'd accomplish by burning down the tree? How you doing, Lone Wolf? Should he tell someone? But this wasn't exactly evidence. And did he really want her to get that much trouble? John decided that he was just being stupid like usual. That he just needed to talk to her and find out exactly what was going on. He needed to put an end to this. That day, whenever he was in the hallway, he could just feel her eyes on him. With every passing moment, he became more sure that she had burned down that tree. He wondered if a normal person would be afraid now, but for him, it barely penetrated his numbness. He just wanted to find out what was going wrong and put an end to it. It took until after school for him to find his chance. When the teacher handed out assignments, he volunteered to clean the roof. He stepped out onto the roof and headed for the far side. What the hell happened there? Okay, he stepped out onto the roof and headed for the far side. After a few seconds, he heard the door again open. He ignored it and instead climbed up to the tank. The upper area was meant to be blocked off, but the janitors had stopped putting up the ladder years ago. Okay, so he opened the door. He instead climbed up to the tank. The upper area was meant to be blocked off, but the janitors had stopped putting the ladder up years ago. On that ladder there. He turned, and to his shock, he was already coming up the ladder. She was already coming up the ladder behind him. Oh God. Reaching the top, she held her hands close to her chest and shuffled her feet demurely, but there was a spark in her eyes. Hello there, Lizzie. Lizzie says nothing. Are you ever going to greet me? Hello. Ah, I said it. I said it. Lizzie, why are you following me? Because Could this girl really have burned down that tree? It just didn't seem like she had it in her. Were you the one leaving me notes in my locker, Lizzie? Yes. How do you know my combination? I watched you. Why, were you watching? Who else would do that for you? Do you have another girl? Oh my God. Oh man. No, you wouldn't do that. Surely not. John realized that he was in way over his head, yet his mouth was still moving, asking the inevitable question. Lizzie, why did you burn down the tree? Because it was a stupid tree. You're so smart. You said it just right. It was awful and stupid, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate. Look at her eyes. I'm doing good, Lone Wolf. How you doing, man? Ah, man, that's a little bit creepy. It's all because of you, John. I could never do what needed to be done before. Now I can. She wasn't stable. She wasn't even close to being stable. What had he gotten himself into? I finally found you. You're the only one for me. John, you're the only one for me. Part of him knew that he should do something. Hell, he should run away. He should call for help. Yeah, but why? He asks her why he's the one for her. Huh? Why do you care about me, Lizzie? How can you ask that? You're the best person. You're the only person, John. Bullshit. I'm just another high school boy. I'm not even that. I'm worthless. No. Do not say that. It's not true. It's not. Look at that. She looks sad there. I'm broken, Lizzie. My brain doesn't work right, and even the strongest drugs don't even make a difference in me. No, that's not true. John is perfect. John is perfect. How can you say these things? The way her words flow together, addressing him directly one moment and in third person the next, bothered him almost as much as the look in her eyes. Whatever her issue was, it was deep. You're not well, Lizzie. You need help. Ah, you said my name. But I can't help you, Lizzie. I'm not worth anything to anyone. Please, just forget about me and find someone else to care about, okay? No, I could never. You're the only person who matters. But why? You don't even know me. You don't care about me. I'm just part of your problem. No. It would be better if I was gone. Maybe you would get better then. Oh no. No, that's not true. It's not, John. John, I love you. I've always loved you. Oh my God, this is getting psycho. John's like, I've watched you. Always. You're so good and kind and perfect and even to a girl like me. He could barely even listen to her words now. John found himself wandering closer and closer to the side of the building, and she followed him automatically. Oh no, he's actually thinking about jumping off the side of this fucking building, guys. And this fucking psycho girl is gonna cause him to fall off the goddamn building. If she don't fucking stop, if someone doesn't come and intervene, this fucking psychotic bitch is gonna make him jump off to his death. Oh god. You're so sad, but you're still so kind. I don't know how. You should be broken like me, but you... I can't help you. If you want to help yourself, you need to forget about me and go get some real help, Lizzie. No, don't say that. You're confused. Yes, that's it. You're confused, John. Poor John is so depressed. He's not thinking straight. He doesn't understand how much I love him. She's talking in third person. Oh, God. He needs my help. This bitch just fucking pulled a knife, guys. I like the way you read this. Thanks, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. The world froze for a moment as the knife glinted, and all he could do was stare at the edge of the knife. You just need someone to care for you. I'll stop everyone who says any unkind thing about you. Oh, God. No. I should just take you home and keep you there with me. Safe. Yes. You just need some help. Where the hell had she gotten that knife, anyhow? Would she actually use it on him? A second later, John realized that that was a foolish thought. This girl had burned down a tree because he said it was stupid. He had no idea if there was any limits on what she might do. And would that really even matter? John had spent nights lying in bed wishing he had never been born. Wishing he had a way to just end it all. Man, that sucks, man. This poor guy contemplating suicide as a teenager. You can't threaten me, Lizzie. John, get away from the edge of the building. It's not safe. He took several steps to the very edge before she could stop him and turned around to face her. The back end of his shoes hung off the edge of the building. Nothing between him and the fatal fall. My life matters so much to you. If my life matters so much to you, stop toying around with me. No, you don't understand. What do you even want with me, Lizzie? You want to stab me until I'm yours forever? You want to keep stabbing me until I'm yours forever? Is that it? Never. John is so good and so kind. I would never need to stab him. Please come away. I'll take good care of you. You can't. Maybe you have good intentions, Lizzie, but you need help. And unless you get it, you're only gonna hurt me. I will. I'll do whatever you want, I promise. Just don't hurt yourself. It was a lie, of course. She was just saying whatever it took to get him to step away from the edge. It was exactly how he had imagined it would go. He'd stand at the edge and everyone would say all kinds of lies about how much he mattered to them, because they'd care for the very first time ever. Not about him, but about the idea of him. But the look in her eyes, that look couldn't be faked. It might be a twisted kind of love, but she loved him utterly. She needed help too. Maybe he could be the one to help her, assuming she didn't stab the shit out of him. But what the hell was he living for anyway? Lizzie, would you make a promise to me? A promise? I'll step away to talk to you, or let you leave notes in my locker, whatever it is that you want. But you have to listen to me, and you need to get some help. Can you do that? You promise? You promise you won't leave me if I say yes? I won't leave you, Lizzie. Forever? Oh, God. The answer stuck in his throat, and he hesitated, wondering if he wasn't making a mistake and saying too much. But in the end, he swallowed and nodded. Anything to get her away, get her away from him with that knife, right? I can understand why he's doing that. Forever. Ah. Now set down the knife and I'll... Whoops. As he started to step away, John lost his balance and fell backwards. Oh no. Suddenly he was in a free fall. Nothing between him and the cold, hard pavement. Oh no, guys. What? Oh, wow. At that moment, Lizzie lunged forward and insanely fast grabbed his wrist. Impossibly, she held him up. Her body was thin, yet somehow she had stopped his fall and held him up with just one hand. Holy shit. Her eyes held a mixture of unstable fear and twisted desire. And in that moment, he knew with absolute certainty that if he had fallen, she would have thrown herself off after him. You can't die, John. You're the only one. The only one. And with some incredible strength, she pulled him back up onto the rooftop. Fortunately, she had left the knife behind when she had lunged to catch him, but he was still anxious being so close to her. John almost died. Now she's talking in third person about him again. John, I love you. I won't let anything bad happen to you. Yeah, that's right. Lone Wolf Psycho Girl's a lifesaver, huh? And John's like, oh God, this girl loves me. Well, she must have. She leaped to save his ass. It was clear that she was completely unstable. But was Lizzie actually dangerous to him? She seemed to care about him more than anything. Or was he just so damn pathetic that he'd latch on to anyone who showed him even the slightest sign of affection? Worthless. You'll keep your promise, right, Lizzie? Of course, of course. Then tomorrow we'll go talk to someone. See if we can get some medication for you, if that's okay. If that's what John wants, then of course that's okay. Good, then perhaps... But... I want more than that. Huh? John, I love you. I've told you over and over and over. Don't you love me too? At least she was asking without the knife in her hand. But... was there a good answer to the question? No, he had to think about this logically. She wanted him to answer yes, but that might just make her worse. The risk of saying no, however, couldn't be ignored either. Though, cautiously say yes or gently let her down. Oh, man. She asked, do you love me too? Man, and she hasn't got help yet, guys. I think we need to say whatever the fuck she wants, and then hope she gets help, and then hope she realizes that she's fucking insane and she don't love him. I'm afraid that if I let her down, she's gonna go ballistic on me. Yeah, I'm just gonna agree with whatever psycho woman is saying here. I realized I could make it worse, but again, she's already agreed to get help. And we're just going to wing it, guys. We're going to wing it with whatever she wants until hopefully we can help her get some help. Lizzie, I don't know you very well yet, but despite all this, I think you're a good person. Oh, we didn't actually say we love her yet anyway. No, I'm awful. John is just being kind. Aw. And he's not answering my question. Oh boy. Talk about putting the pressure on somebody, huh? Look, Lizzie, I want to get to know you better, okay? Maybe then I could love you. Ah, he said it. He said maybe if I got to know you better, I could learn to love you, is what he said. And she's taken that as he said, I love you. Oh my God. John desperately hoped that it wasn't a mistake. He hoped this all wasn't just a mistake. But he hadn't been stabbed yet. And after how today had gone, that was good enough for him. Yeah, he's just lucky to still be alive. I mean, he fell off the fucking building. He's lucky he ain't fucking splattered blood and guts all over the fucking sidewalk down below. She did save his ass. Alright then, well, I'll see you later, okay, Lizzie? I'll be watching you. But yes, later. You're not gonna do anything crazy, are you? No, John loves me. That's all that matters. Oh, God. We both need to get to class, but we'll talk tomorrow, okay? Okay. The rest of the day was even more of a blur than usual. Everyone's voices not even echoing in his head. John could hardly believe what he had just done. It all seemed like a dream now. Had Lizzie really pulled a knife on him? Had he really threatened to jump off the school building? It made him wonder if he wasn't the insane one here. But no, it all really happened, for better or for worse. He was stuck in this situation. Only when he was headed to bed did John realize that he felt strangely alive, even better than after his therapy sessions. Maybe it was the brush with death. Maybe it was just having someone to think about other than his own pathetic existence. But he felt almost good. Maybe that meant he was crazy too. But right now, he was just glad to soundly go to sleep. Man. In the morning, it all seemed even more unbelievable. John sleepwalked through his routine, half certain that he would find out if it had all just been a dream. How you doing? Welcome back, Rock and Roll. Oh man, that internet, man, that sucks, dude. But when he arrived at school, he found Lizzie waiting for him by the school entrance. She looked like she could have been waiting there the entire night. Oh no, don't tell me she was waiting there the whole damn night for him. And then, when she saw him, though, her face lit up. John, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you so long. Oh God, she was waiting there all night, wasn't she? Good morning. Yes, it's a wonderful morning. I spent so long, too nervous to talk to you, afraid that you would hate me. But yesterday we had such a nice talk. Now I'm barely nervous at all. But my heart, John, it still goes crazy every time you get near me. John. Oh no. Isn't it horrible that we have to be in different classes? Lovers like us shouldn't be separated like this. Oh man. Will you eat your lunch with me today? John, please, won't you? She could sound so damn adorable. Normally, he'd be happy to have a girl like her asking to eat lunch together. But she was fucking psycho! Sure. You want to meet for lunch on the roof again? No. There might be unkind people there, and they'll make you feel sad again. No, I have the perfect place. Where is it? That's a secret, but I'll show you at lunchtime. He really wasn't sure how to feel about that. Yeah, I don't either. For once, John had something to look forward to, or to dread. He wasn't sure. The minutes seemed to crawl by until it was finally lunchtime. When he wasn't even looking for, or when he went looking for Lizzie, he discovered that she was waiting behind him, completely silent, watching him. You know how creepy that would be? So he gets out of class, goes to look for her, and then finally finds her right behind him, watching him. Do you guys know how fucking creepy that would feel? It's her basement with chains. Yeah, it might be rock and roll. Oh, hi, Lizzie. Let's go. Let's go. We don't need to go to the cafeteria. Come this way. She practically dragged him away from the school and onto one of the paths in the nearby forest. Soon, they got far enough that they couldn't hear any sounds from the school at all. Here is perfect. Just perfect. Lizzie faced away from him, giving him a soft little laugh, and then suddenly she whirled around, thrusting something towards him. It was a lunchbox. I worked really hard on this. You have to eat it. You just have to. Oh, okay. Thanks, Lizzie. She gave a little squeal and promptly sat down on a small rock. It seemed like she had a second lunchbox of her own, but she kept it in her lap until he opened his. John was braced for a horror show, but to his surprise, it was just normal food. It actually looked pretty good. He took a bite, and it tasted good too. John realized that Lizzie was staring at him intensely, as if her life was on the line, so he just gave her a smile. It's really good. Yay, I worked so hard on it. So, do you just want to eat together, or... This is a date, isn't it? We should get to know each other more. I want to know everything about you. Well, I'm really nothing special. That's not true. Well, let me see what's to say. Despite himself, John found it easy to talk to her. He was sure he was sounding like an idiot rambling about stupid, mundane topics, yet she listened to every single word with rapt attention. It was bizarre to have someone actually care about his life. His father never had time, his friends were busy with their own things, and Miss Smith, his psychologist, counselor, was just listening professionally. But Lizzie really cared. He knew that she wasn't well. He knew that she wasn't well, that her obsession was probably a sickness. Yet a pathetic part of him didn't even care. Hell, he was happy just to have someone paying attention to him. I can understand that. I can understand that if you go home every day and your friends pick on you and your friends really don't care about you, that, you know, if your mom moves away, your parents get in a fight, your mom moves away, never calls, whatever, your dad's always working and you never see him, and you don't really have any friends, I can understand how good it might feel for a teenage boy to be getting that kind of attention, you know? Only after talking for a long time did he realize that he was talking about himself like a self-centered jerk. But she didn't seem to mind. But he still felt guilty. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I do that sometimes. Oh, don't apologize. I love listening to you talk. It's been pretty boring, though. I mean, you already know a lot about me. I want to know everything about you. I've been watching you for a long time. I know all the facts, but I still don't know everything. I just can't see inside your head, and that's where the important parts of John are. But I can't see those parts. I wish there was a way to crack your head open and see everything inside. Oh my God, she's going psycho again. John swallowed uncomfortably. You can always just ask me what I'm thinking, okay? There's no reason to crack my head open there, girl. Yeah. Okay, you're so nice, John. So Lizzie, tell me about yourself. Oh, there's nothing to tell about me. I'm not important. I really just want to listen to you more. Now Lone Wolf was like, run. Yeah. Yes, but what if I want to know more about you? Don't you want to tell me? Aw, John is so kind. I don't deserve him. So, Lizzie, what about your parents? I live alone now. Neither of my parents wanted me anyway. Aw. I'm sure that's not true. They probably just... You don't have to make me feel better. I don't mind. You don't mind that your parents... My father never loved me anyway. And, well, my mother's dead now. Well, my parents separated too. They never made it formal, but yeah, they are separated. Mom doesn't like to visit, and Dad is always at work, so it's like he's not even really there. You mean they just leave you alone? That's horrible. How dare they just leave you like that? Clubs. Are you into any mid-school clubs? He's trying to change the subject. When he wasn't pulling the conversation away from troubling topics, John actually found himself enjoying their talk. Or maybe he was just happy to be talking to someone and actually managing that they were paying attention to the conversation. He finished every bite of the lunch without even thinking about it. Given the way she stared at the last crumbs while he finished them, that was probably a good thing. Too late it occurred to him that she might have tampered with the lunch. Yet as she stared at him, so pleased that he had enjoyed it, John couldn't really believe that she would do anything bad to him. As soon as he had thought about it, as soon as he had that thought, he remembered the tree, and then he shivered involuntarily. After school, John had barely gotten out the door when he spotted Lizzie following him. Oh boy. It seemed as though she was stalking him at first, but then he made eye contact, and she gave him a sweet smile and skipped forward. John, let's walk home together. Do we live in the same direction? No, but don't worry, I'll walk back to my house later. Which meant she did not know where he lived. Which meant she did know where he lived. Yeah, because if she knows if she knows that she lives in a different direction than him, she knows where he lives. So she knows where he lives, and he really needs to be more cautious, he thinks. Well, maybe we could do something else. You remember our promise? Yes. Getting medicine and therapy has really helped me a lot. I hope it'll help you too. Now, I think the easiest thing to do would be to take you to Miss Smith. She could... No! No, I hate her. She's awful, and she wants to take you away from me. Oh, God. She's jealous of the counselor. Wait a second now. That's not true. She just wants to help. John is too nice. he can't see what kind of a person she really is. I have to protect him. Whoa, 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 Lizzie, calm down. If you don't want to talk to Miss Smith, we can do something else, all right? Okay. So probably best not to choose a woman. There had to be a male, a Kyotech, a pharmacist in town. Maybe one of them could prescribe her something. He wasn't really sure how that worked. He had been counting on Miss Smith to guide the process, but now he'd have to figure it out all by himself. Lizzie, I need to do a little research. Is that okay? Okay, I'll follow you. Maybe it would be easier if I did this by myself? No, I don't like that idea. Look, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? You can bring me another lunch. Okay then, I'll see you tomorrow, John. He hoped that medication would help her stabilize. After all, she'd be cute if... Wait a minute, why exactly was he doing this? He had told himself it was to help her and make sure no one got hurt. But now he was hoping she could become normal and stay with him. Oh man. Why am I getting the Doki Doki vibes? I know, right, rock and roll? Pathetic. He couldn't get a girlfriend normally, and so he had to take advantage of some poor girl's obsession. Oh, that's fucked up, man. So she was stalking him on the rooftop when they started talking and everything, rock and roll. She pulled a fucking knife out at one point, and he was backing off the kind of the edge of the building. He was up at the highest point on the building, going up to the rooftop and then even climbing a ladder up to a higher point. And she pulled a fucking knife out when he was kind of like giving her the cold shoulder. And she said no, but she wouldn't hurt him and everything like that. And she kind of got up close to him and everything like that. And he was trying to get her to put the knife down and everything. And then he accidentally stepped off the edge of the building. And he was falling, like it looked like he was going to die. And then the next scene we know, she reached out and, she basically jumped out and grabbed him. And with some kind of incredible strength, even though she's a thin girl, she pulled him up onto the rooftop. So she did save his ass. But then he made her promise. He said, okay, if we get down and you put the knife away, you got to promise me that you'll get help. You'll go talk to a psychologist and or psychiatrist or counselor or whatever, and take medication because you need help. But now he's saying to himself, pathetic, he couldn't even get a girlfriend normally, so he had to take advantage of some poor girl's obsession over him. Wow, he really does think low of himself. But for now, it didn't matter. She really did need help, and he might be able to get it for her. It was just a question of how. The best way was probably to ask for advice, either from Miss Smith or a pharmacist. He could try to research some himself, but though he doubted that he'd be any good at doing the research, and he supposed it wouldn't hurt to ask her if she was taking anything else or if she had allergies or something. Damn it, he should have already done that earlier. Now it was too late. John realized that she was still following him. He shouldn't have been surprised. Okay, so asking her was still an option. But he only had so much time before he had to get home and do his schoolwork, and so he needed to choose carefully. Talk to Miss Smith, talk to a pharmacist, research in the library, talk to Lizzie, or just go home early. Man. I would say talk to Miss Smith, but I'm afraid she's going to follow him. She's watching everything he does. And we already know she is jealous of Miss Smith, thinking Miss Smith, his counselor, wants him for herself. So while that seems like the best idea on first thought, I think that might be the worst thing to do right now. Anything he does, she's going to be right there watching him. I mean, she knew his fucking longer combination. She's been watching him for a long time. She even said that. She's going to kill the counselor. I guess we'll talk to her. Fuck, I don't know. John walked along the street until he was sure that Lizzie was slinking after him, and then turned and waved to her, and she waved back. Hi, John. Did you change your mind? Can we go home together? I knew you. No, I just wanted to check with you. Are you taking any kind of medications right now? Have you had any bad reactions in the past? Oh, no, I never take anything. My mother always made me take too many drugs. It scared me when I was a little. I see. Are you sure you aren't taking any medication right now then? Aw, John is so considerate. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I see you take your medicine every day and try to get better. I want to be like you. Okay, good. I think. I hope it will help. I'll take anything you give me, John. Oh boy. Yeah, that he gives her. Stepping out onto the street, John glanced at his watch and decided that he had some more time to research his options. Research in the library. Talk to a pharmacist, talk to Miss Smith, or go home early. Hey, you saw me in a DVD video a year ago about losing 1,700 hours. How did that go? It's all in the video, man. You lost all your data. Yeah, you got to contact the developers of Dead by Daylight. You got to contact them if you lose your data. They'll put it back on your account. Yep. Gotta reach Dead by Daylight. It's in the forums, man. Just Google it. Yep. Gotta reach out to the DVD support. Yeah, it's completely changed now, man. But welcome to the stream. Even if we research and we think that we can help her out, I mean, we're not going to be able to get our hands on medication ourselves. She probably does need medication. She probably needs to talk to somebody. I don't think the situation is going to get better by ignoring it and just going home early. I don't like the idea of researching in the library. I think, again, I think talking to Miss Smith with her jealousy of Miss Smith being my counselor is probably the worst option here. I'm going to talk to a pharmacist, and maybe a pharmacist can recommend a guy counselor for her or something, or at least another counselor. So I think we need to talk to somebody, just not Miss Smith. So we're going to do that. John explored the part of town where he had thought he'd remember the Kyotech pharmacy. It turned out his memory was right. It was staffed by a male pharmacist. The middle-aged man gave him a perfunctory nod and listened patiently enough as John described Lizzie's symptoms without mentioning her directly. And the pharmacist says, I'd recommend Paxatine or Cerazine. Either one could... No, that's not enough. Excuse me, young man, I don't think... I'm on Paxatine. This isn't that simple of a problem. I'm worried that she might hurt somebody. Oh, I see. Is there something you should tell me, young man? No, I just really want to help her. I wish someone had made me get some help earlier, and I want to be that person for her. Pharmacist doesn't say anything. Well, if the condition is serious, I have 2 suggestions. You would need a blood test to prescribe her either one, though. Well, what do you suggest? Either Nilazine or Yanaquel. Nilazine is better if the problem is mental, but Yanaquel is a problem if it's emotional. Unfortunately, it was probably both. Well, thanks for letting me know about those. I'll see if I can't convince her. Not many people your age would go to so much trouble for a classmate. You're a good kid." Strangely, the man's words actually made John feel better. Maybe he really was doing the right thing with all this. It was getting late, and John realized he needed to get home quickly if he wanted to have time for his homework. On his way back, he was sure again that Lizzie was following him, but he couldn't get a clear look at her. At least there was only one more day until the weekend. Friday passed faster than John had expected. Lizzie was nearby at all times, and they ate lunch together, but things were almost normal. Almost. Just when he started to get comfortable, she would give a giggle that went on a little bit too long, or slide a hand towards where she had hid her knife, or respond far more enthusiastically than she should have. Was it bad of him to think that she was really cute despite of her problems? She could be nice if she wasn't so, well, fucked up. But John hated it when his friend suggested that it could be fun if he wasn't depressed. And that thought left an ugly knot in his stomach. Well, it wasn't long now anyway. Maybe she could get some real help. He made it through the last class, almost slept through his session with Miss Smith, and then headed home. I think it would be tempting to tell Miss Smith, like he's having a counseling session with Miss Smith. I think it would be really tempting to talk to her while he's in that one-on-one conversation in a room with her. I mean, after all, I don't think she would be able to hear what he's saying to her. But it doesn't say anything about, didn't give us a choice to talk to her about him or anything. I mean, we had a choice at one point to talk to her, but first choice, she is creepy. Yeah. John finished his homework and his chores as fast as he could, and then went to sleep. I mean, at least he's doing his fucking homework, though. At least he cares enough to do his homework and chores. You know, at least he's not just coming home from school and going right to sleep. At least he's not that depressed, right? Going out in public was always drained him, and he wanted to have enough energy for the weekend. He woke up too early, eyes gritty and head still mired in half-remembered dreams. John got up to get a drink and happened to glance out the window. Oh no, he's gonna see her. She's gonna be watching his fucking house, I guarantee you. And Lizzie was standing outside his house with a huge smile on her face. Yup. This is so fucking creepy, guys. After staring at her for a moment, John groaned and just went back to bed. So what is it, like early in the morning? Back. I don't think I want to go back. I think it's going to take me back to the menu. Yeah, like I feel like it's early in the morning. Sun's just coming up on a Saturday morning. And this fucking bitch is standing outside his house, just looking and watching. Man. The second time he woke up, the sun had already risen. He felt a little bit better, but not much. Normally, he would stay home all weekend, but he couldn't do that if he wanted to help out Lizzie. She was still standing outside his house in exactly the same place with exactly the same cheerful expression. John brushed his teeth, got dressed, combed his hair, and then he realized he was acting like he was getting ready for a date. True, he had sort of accepted her confession. John decided that that was just what he'd have to deal with now if he wanted to have a connection with her. Well, at least he wasn't going to go out with a... Wait a minute. Well, at least he was going to go out with a cute girl. He hadn't done that since middle school, and those were just childish relationships. Of course, this was the only way he could get a date. Pathetic. Damn, she does look kind of cute. I said that right from the start. First time we saw her, I was like, damn, this is kind of a cute girl. You know, for an anime, for a fucking drawing, she looks like she'd be a cute girl. Except when she has that fucking psychotic evil face they draw on her with the evil eyes. Then she looks creepy as shit. Finishing his preparations, John headed outside. He hadn't noticed from his house, but Lizzie had gotten dressed up for the occasion. He had never seen her outside her school uniform, and it made him hesitate for a moment. She'd obviously put effort into making herself look good, and she did. It would have been nice if not for how it made him worry about the level of importance she was attaching to the day. As soon as Lizzie saw him, her smile became even brighter than what it had been while waiting for him. Now, my question is here is, it's almost like she was just waiting outside of his house the whole fucking night. And she's watching him all the time. Like, when does this girl sleep? Like, does this girl ever sleep? Lone Wolf is like, call the cops. Rock and Roll is like, next thing you know, she's going to tell him she masturbated with a pin John dropped. John, I'm ready. Good morning, Lizzie. Did you sleep all right? Yep, that's what I was afraid of. I was just asking that. Oh, I didn't sleep. Let's go. How are you not tired, Lizzie? You been waiting and watching my house all fucking night? John's like speechless. She practically dragged him down the street, apparently heading for the bus station. Yet, instead of looking forward, her gaze was fixed behind her on him. Do you have a plan, John? This is our first date ever. It needs to be perfect. Shit. He should have known she'd treat it this way. It wasn't like he hadn't had enough time. He used to be good at planning. What the hell was wrong with him? Other than clinical depression. God, he was such a mess. Alright, he had to think. He used to be able to think on his feet. He could do this. So, I want to deal with the medication issue first so the rest of the day can be fun, okay? Sure, whatever you want. If we go get you a blood test, we'll need to wait a while. So I was thinking we could get the test done first, and then eat breakfast, and then go get the results. That should give us the entire rest of the day. That's such a great plan. Let's hurry. John was glad to hear her respond so happily, but he wondered if she would have said that no matter what he told her. They took a bus across town to the furthest pharmacy and ordered a standard Kyotech sampling. He had been nervous that Lizzie might react poorly to the needle, but she just smiled sweetly at him while they took a bit of her blood, and then hopped right back up. Look, that Band-Aid has a little kitties on it. It's so cute. You want to go eat something now then? Yes. They walked to a nearby bakery, and he bought them a pair of pastries. One of the only advantages of his workaholic father was that at least he had a decent amount of spending money. Lizzie held hers in both hands and began cheerfully nibbling on the end of it. She stared at him while she was doing it, but otherwise she looked ordinarily cute, instead of just scary cute. Nom nom nom. Haha, I didn't know that you could act silly, Lizzie. Hee hee hee. I don't hear you laugh very often. You're always looking so sad, and that makes me sad too. And like that, his good mood crumpled. I know, I'm always ruining everything. I don't know why anyone stays near me when I just... No! Lizzie took his pastry and stuffed it in his mouth to shut him up. You're not depressing at all, John. Just being around you makes me feel all warm inside. I I just want to see you smile more. When you smile, I feel like maybe everything will just be alright. Hump, hump, hump. He's got the pastry in his mouth. His attempt to talk around the pastry made Lizzie giggle, which made him laugh, which set off a vicious cycle. After a good fit of coughing, he had lost half of his pastry but regained his good mood. It had been a long time since an emotional downturn hadn't sent him spiraling toward depression. Lizzie just grinned at him, and he smiled back at her. Wow, they're actually having fun, though. Is she the Tyler Durden from the Fight Club? Hole in his head? That's why she is crazy. She doesn't sleep. Yeah, I know, right? That's a little bit scary, Lone Wolf. This is, I mean, this is all really sad and depressing, but I got to admit, this part right here where they're out having fun and laughing and lifting each other up, this part right here is cheerful. I mean, inspiring even. This part right here, you listen to the music. I mean, part of it's got to be the music. Listen to the music. The music is really happy as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're helping each other in a way right now. But you know it's going to get dark here soon. Let's enjoy it while we can, huh? While it lasts. I hope they do. All at once, he felt guilty for trying to convince her to take her medication. Who the hell was he to tell her what to do? Worse, was he manipulating her obsession like this? It was only to help her, but did that make it any better? The thoughts troubled him, but they remained in the back of his mind as they finished eating, talking lightly. But then they were finished, and it had been a while since the test, so it was time to go back. Alright, let's go get the results, okay? Alright, we will. Will John think differently about me? No, I just want to find a way to help you, Lizzie. Okay. She answered cheerfully, but something in the lightheartedness they had shared was gone, and it wasn't coming back. Swallowing, John steeled himself and walked with her back to the pharmacy. Lizzie slowed near the entrance and then shuffled backward. Uh-oh. She's scared. I'll stay here. You can bring me what I need, okay? Okay. No problem. Inside, he found the pharmacist writing something on a clipboard. When he spotted John, he immediately frowned. You're alone? I suppose that's for the best, anyway. Look, we need to talk. Uh-oh. Is something wrong? She's not sick, is she? Oh, this isn't that kind of test. It only takes a snapshot of a person's current condition. Is your friend going through a difficult time right now? Well, I mean, maybe a little. There are some extraordinary numbers. Most people only see these briefly during the worst days of their lives. Take care of her until things pass, okay? Oh, wow. Okay. There's something else I have to ask. It won't be comfortable, but this is necessary. Have you ever gotten any sense that she might hurt herself or anyone else? Uh-oh. It's going to give me a choice on to be honest or to lie. No, it didn't give me a choice. Okay. No, I can't imagine her doing anything like that. Why is he lying to the pharmacist here? Because he just saw her with a knife the other day. And like I said, the lie. The lie was out of his mouth before he had even consciously decided to lie. John regretted it immediately. Yet now it was just too late to contradict himself. The pharmacist grunted and looked over his papers. Well, you keep a close eye on her, okay? Even the gentlest person could be capable of violence under conditions like these. Is it really that bad? I thought she seemed better today. No, there must be some recent trauma that she hasn't told you about. I'm certain of it. I mean, someone with numbers like these regularly, they would be completely incurable, insane, probably and definitely a threat to society. Oh shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply anything. I'm sure she'll work through things and go back to normal soon. So, can you prescribe her anything? I can give you 2 weeks of either Yanquidel or Nilazine. That should get her over the rough patch. Just 2 weeks? Can't you prescribe more? Not without a much more extensive evaluation. But like I said, that's all you'll need. I'm sure she'll recover soon. I really should be asking her directly, but in her present condition, I think it'd be safer to bend the rules and let you act like a family member. So, which one do you think would be best for her? Mental or emotional? Fuck, I don't know. I'm gonna say, I think it was Yandequel that was mental. I'm gonna say that one. 2 weeks of Yandequel coming right up. Try to help her rest, okay? Yeah, okay. Heading outside, John handed the bag to Lizzie. He had pushed pretty hard to get to this point, but he would never force her to take the medication. His father had used to talk like he didn't have a choice about depression medication, practically threatened to force feed him. John refused to do that to anyone else. But Lizzie didn't make an issue of it at all. Smiling at him, she opened the bag, shook out one of the pills, and swallowed it without even taking a drink. She'd given the label a careful look, though. Okay, I hope you can love me now, John. Aw. Lizzie, no, I never meant anything like that. Please don't. Oh, that doesn't taste bad at all. So, can we go on with our date now, John, can we? He wanted to go back to what she had said, reassure her that he meant nothing wrong by it, but his words stuck in his mouth. Maybe on some level he did mean to force her. Maybe he was repeating everything that had been done to him. But with Lizzie smiling at him like that, he couldn't fall too far in depression. Instead, John just smiled back and gestured for her to follow him. Without any great ideas, John thought they should go to the park. Their town had a pretty nice park, and it was usually empty this time of day. His friends had always said that a movie was the best first date, but he suspected they mostly wanted to try to cop a feel. Besides, he was worried Lizzie would end up watching him instead of the movie. He's probably right. In the park, Lizzie happily skipped along the paths, often looking back to him, but at least looking at a lot of other things. And as he watched her, he realized that she was definitely more stable than usual. She stayed cheerful and sweet, without any threats of violence at all. Could it really be that the Yandequel? With him, the Paxitine had taken weeks to work, and whether or not it actually helped had really been unclear. But then again, Lizzie was her own case. Of course, it took more than medicine to cure a serious condition. He knew that all too well. And Miss Smith had said therapy was also an important component of recovery. Hers had completely helped him, or her counseling for him had certainly helped. And the third main component was a social support network, and there, he completely failed to take her advice. he still spent most of his time alone or in meaningless old relationships. But hey, now he was walking in a park with his girl his own age. Maybe, just maybe, things were looking up. And for once in his life, things went this way. Lizzie was happy to eat fast food for lunch and didn't even try to feed him anything. Afterward, he was pretty much out of plans and Lizzie didn't want to stop. Fortunately, she was happy to drag him around town to see just random things. In a way, he was really grateful for that. He had spent all his energy just making decisions during the morning. It was easy to just glide along in her wake. In that way, she was a very good match for him. And when the sun started setting, John was actually surprised. Had the day really passed that quickly? He could barely drag himself through a lot of the weekends. This was a welcome change. Classmate number 1. Holy shit, is that John? With a girl? Hey guys. And classmate number 3. Is that the crazy chick you told me about? Oh no! Yeah, classmate number 3, you idiot! Is that the crazy chick you told me about in front of her? Uh-oh. This isn't good. Things were going so well today. Oh god. And we can tell by the music. Listen to the music, guys. Oh, fuck. She's gonna lose it. Oh yeah, that's definitely her. Oh, John, you really are desperate, aren't you? Given how much of a sad sack he's been lately, I'm pretty sure he is. Ha ha ha. Wait, do any of you have girlfriends? Look at her face. Classmate number 1's like, doesn't say shit. Classmate number 2 doesn't say shit. Classmate number 3 doesn't say shit. He said the right thing to shut him up, I think. Hey, which one of you motherfuckers has a girlfriend? I got a hot girlfriend, you motherfuckers. Shut the fuck up. You guys talk so much shit. Just leave Lizzie out of it, okay? He's actually sticking up for her. I like that. Classmate number 2. Oh, fuck you, John. If she wasn't crazy, you could never get a girl as cute as her. Oh, that's fucked up. Well, she is pretty hot. I don't get why she's with you. Yeah, this really doesn't make any sense at all. Aw, John, are you gonna cry? Better not, or she'll realize how pathetic you really are. Man, these guys are fucking dicks. These are his friends, supposedly. Like, this is the guys he was going up to the roof of the school building and hanging out with and talking to during his lunches. Yeah. If these are friends, yeah, this motherfucker doesn't need enemies. These guys are fucking dicks, man. His positive mood was completely gone. He knew he should check to see how Lizzie was taking the whole mocking. But it was the most he could do to not fall into a mire of self-hatred. As always, he felt like he should be stronger than this, less emotionally fragile. And that just added to his self-hatred. Man, these fucking dickheads. If it had been anyone else, he might have crashed completely. But he knew these guys, and he was at least familiar with their attitudes. John pulled himself together and faked a smile at them. Sounds like sour grapes to me. You all have fun with each other, okay? Come on, Lizzie, let's get out of here. And they scoffed, but he didn't care. He took her hand and walked as fast as he dared out of the alleyway. And when they were a safe distance away, he finally glanced over at Lizzie and shivered. Her eyes were staring intensely at nothing, and she was gnawing on one knuckle. Was there blood running down her finger? Oh no. Yeah, she's mad. Abruptly, she squeezed his hand, and then swept both of her hands behind her back and smiled at him. That was really sweet of you, John. You're always so nice. Don't let those guys bother you, Lizzie. They just say a lot of stupid shit, but it doesn't mean anything. Is your finger okay? It looked like... Oh, I'm okay, John. Don't worry. Well, should we just keep going? Okay. But they hadn't got very far before John realized that he couldn't follow up on that. He had pulled himself together long enough to walk away, but now he just had nothing left. It was all too much. He wasn't usually outside and in public this much, and though being with Lizzie wasn't bad, he wasn't stable enough for this much interaction. John, are you okay? I'm just really tired. I think I need to go home. Is something wrong? Did I do something wrong? He could hear the tremor in her voice. He knew she needed affirmation, but the apathy was choking him to death. He had no energy for anyone else right now. No energy for anything but getting back home, curling up, and just wishing he was dead. Oh, man. Somehow he said goodbye. He found the bus and got all the way back home. The events passed like he was suffocating in gauze. The world around him was just too unreal to have any effect. Maybe he should have just reassured Lizzie, but it didn't matter. He was an idiot for thinking he could help her. Nothing he did ever mattered. Man, his self-depression is getting the best of him now. On Sunday, John woke up utterly miserable. It took him several minutes just to push the sheet off of his face, and then he immediately winced at the light. There was probably no way he was going to get out of bed for the entire day, not feeling like this. He had homework due on Monday, but he just didn't care. He'd get hungry eventually, but it didn't compare to the deeper emptiness gnawed at him now. Everything hurt, but nothing mattered. Just when he was going to roll over and futilely attempt to go back to sleep, he heard someone knocking on the door. Good morning, John. He stared at his ceiling for a while and then pulled the sheets over his face. No, not today. He had no energy for anyone else. She'd have to take care of herself today. Soon enough, she stopped knocking. Good. John let the blanket stay on his face, but he didn't close his eyes. He was just staring at the fabric. I have a feeling she's going to sneak in. She's going to sneak in his room. What do you guys think? That was when he heard the front door close. Yup. Now, Sunday, is his father there, or is his father at work on a goddamn Sunday? You would think his father would be home one day of the week anyway, right? Under normal circumstances, he would have been upset or even uncomfortable. But in the grip of depression, he barely registered what it even meant. Good morning, John. He didn't respond. She didn't even seem to notice, moving closer and pulling the blankets away from his face. Are you having a bad day? Don't worry. Lizzie will take care of you. And with that, she began bustling around him, apparently not even caring that he didn't respond. She untangled his sheets and tucked him in better, humming a little tune the entire time. Stay right there, okay? She gave him a little peck on the cheek and then skipped out of the room. He heard her go across the floor and enter the kitchen and begin opening things. Oh, wow. Strangely, just having her present kind of helped. The worst part of the days he couldn't get out of bed was actually the boredom. He didn't want to do anything, but that left his mind grinding against itself. Now, at least he had Lizzie to listen to. It sounded like she found the pots and pans pretty quickly, and she turned on the stove. Since his mother had left, most of them didn't get much use at all. John's father never cooked anything, and though John had learned how to cook for himself, he usually just used the same pan every single day. Was she really going to cook for him? He recalled that her lunches had been pretty good, so maybe he had something to look forward to. Lizzie popped in again to open his window and let fresh air into his room. He was afraid that she would try to talk to him, but she just smiled, and when he looked at her, she kept moving around. Look how short that skirt is, boys. Yeah. I'm just saying, he better be careful. He's going to get himself in trouble alone with a cute girl with a short skirt that is fucking crazy. Soon, she headed back out, still humming to herself. Eventually, she returned with a steaming bowl of soup. John stared at it, and so she sat down on the bed and held out a spoon for him. So she's thinking he's sick, and she goes and makes him soup. She is kind of sweet, ain't she? She definitely seems like, even if she is crazy, she fucking cares about him. I mean, look at the way she jumped out and leaped over to grab his hand and keep him from falling to his death. I mean, she is fucking psycho, though. She's definitely creepy, watching him and stalking him all the time. Eat up, you need your strength. It looked like she was going to hold the spoon in front of him until he ate it, so John gave in and accepted the spoonful. Even through his gray haze, it wasn't bad. He opened his mouth when she fed him another spoon, and now she's spoon-feeding him. Well, that's dessert. What, her skirt? Yeah, her. After he ate the soup, she left him alone again for a while, and he actually drifted back to sleep. It was heavy, exhausted sleep, but it was better than nothing. And when he woke up, Lizzie was sitting nearby, staring at him with a dead look in her eyes. But John found that he didn't even care. She spent the entire day caring for him, always fussing around for his comfort and feeding him regardless of his objections. Somehow she managed to convince him to sit up, propped against some pillows, and once he was sitting up, it was easier for him to do something else, like read for a little while. And to his surprise, Lizzie actually pulled out some homework and began working through it, humming to herself. He wasn't sure why he was surprised. Obviously, she was a student too, but somehow he didn't think people like her actually worked or studied at all. And by the end of the day, he was actually feeling close to better. But when he tried to get up, Lizzie kept him down with a gentle hand on his chest. You get better, okay? I'll see you on Monday. She stayed with him until he finally went back to sleep for the night. It was only as he was drifting off peacefully that he realized that he had definitely locked the door the night before. Oh, wow. He locked the door and she got in and he realizes that. That's a little bit creepy again. On Tuesday, John and Lizzie ate lunch together as if everything was normal. And in some bizarre way, it really was. Perhaps due to the medication, she seemed so much more stable than before. She was sweet and kind at all times, always considerate and affectionate. Yet there was the occasional moment where she still seemed a little obsessed. The slightest positive comment from him would be interrupted as a sign of their destined love. But all in all, John was happier than he had been in a long time. His classmates even stopped messing with him about Lizzie, even though he wasn't sure if that was because she seemed normal or because they were afraid of her. Probably a little of both. Yet he wasn't, not really. He had a hard time believing that anyone could really love him, yet it seemed that Lizzie truly did. If anything, he worried that he could never love her back as intensely as she loved him. He had an appointment scheduled with Miss Smith on Wednesday, yet for once, when he walked into her office, he didn't feel like he desperately needed it. Are you ready for your session today, John? Actually, I'm feeling really good. Maybe we could skip it today? Oh, you should know better than that. If you stop the treatment that's making you feel better, you might have another relapse. Oh, no, you're right. Sorry. Oh, don't be sorry. Just lie down and take a load off. So, how have you been doing lately? Well, I'm okay, I guess. Well, that's better than most weeks, so it looks like you're making progress. By the way, I've seen you pass with a girl. Are you two dating? Oh boy, what should I tell her? Yes, we're dating. Maybe something like that. No, we're just friends. No, she's sort of stalking me. It's complicated. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say it's something like that, I guess. Yeah, she loves me. Well, that's probably good for you. You need more relationships. But I have to ask, have the two of you been intimate? What? How can you ask that? I'm not teasing you. It's a very serious question. You'd better not be leading up to give me a lecture about safe sex or abstinence or anything like that. So, should I take that as a no? Yes, I mean, no, we haven't done anything like that. Oh, it's good to hear that you're at least expressing interest. Kyotech got back to me about erosipalm, and it still decays from viability, so we don't have a solid option for libido issues. Can we talk about something else? Anything else? Sorry to make you feel uncomfortable, John, but I do need to be concerned about your welfare in all respects. To that end, I need to ask you one more question. Has the girl ever displayed any strange behavior? Erratic tendencies? Oh no. Yes, no, what kind of behavior? What kind of question is that? What kind of behavior? Well, for example, fixations bordering on serious OCD, maybe violent tendencies or mood swings. Those are pretty specific symptoms. Is something wrong? No, I'm just covering the bases. I can't believe you think that kind of thing about Lizzie. I'm not trying to be rude, John. This is important. You see, I looked up that girl's records, and to my surprise, I actually knew her mother. Oh wow, you knew Lizzie's mother? Yes, Abby Doss took part in one of our early clinical trials. She was one of the women who had to be removed from the study when we learned that they had lied about being pregnant at the time. Plus, I thought she displayed addictive tendencies. I understand she began abusing prescription painkillers later in life as well. The poor girl probably had a very hard childhood. So anyway, I just hope that the girl turned out alright. Any drugs taken while someone is in utero can have permanent long-term impacts. So, I'm glad the girl turned out normal. But she's not normal. Moving on. John, you do seem so much better. I assume the issue of emotional grayness has taken care of itself now? Yeah, of course, and no more gray. Miss Smith seemed so positive he couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth, because despite the general improvement in his life, that aspect of it had not. Lizzie was a single spot of color in his gray world, but the rest was even grayer than ever before. The rest of their session passed in a gray blur. Oh man, this is sad, man. When it was over, John was in a strange mood. He felt a little better, but not much. Usually after a therapy session, he floated in an empty tranquility. But now his mind was just racing. He impatiently set through his next class, but his mind was on what Miss Smith had said about Lizzie's mother. Could that be part of the reason for her instability? When he had a free period, John headed straight for the library and tried to look up past incidents. It was hard to find information on Koitek's old trials, but when he eventually gave in and looked at the microfilm, he actually found some relevant articles. He knew that Lizzie had been born in 1972, so he was able to skip back. He knew that Lizzie had been born in 1972. That seems like she's old. So he was able to skim back to around the time she had been born. He actually found the birth announcement in the local paper easily, but for the rest, he was left searching aimlessly through shitty local articles. And then, all at once, it was easy. There was a series of articles that took his research from a boring whim to something that had him on the edge of his seat. Apparently, before it was called Koitek, the company had been called Pharmavax. They rebranded after a series of drug recalls had ruined their reputation. John sat back, unable to read any further. Was that really the explanation? It felt so cheap. It was easy to presume that Lizzie's mother had been involved in one of the recalled Pharmavax's trials, and her unborn child must have suffered the consequences. Oh shit. Now the light comes on. Lizzie's mother was pregnant with her and had been on a fucked up prescription medication from Pharmavax so bad that Pharmavax completely changed their name to rebrand. Oh man, this is fucked up, man. Could it really have unbalanced Lizzie this way? If so, that meant that this was no phase she was going through. If her early development had been altered, she was probably going to be this way for life. Yet the second emotion he felt was anger. Anger that Mrs. Smith or anyone else could think Lizzie was just some freak chemical accident. It was too much like the scorn that had been heaped on him for his depression. Whatever her problems, Lizzie was a person who deserved respect. Help, but respect before anything else. I respect that. I respect that a lot. Whatever her problems were, Lizzie was a person. She is a person, right? And she does deserve respect for being a person. I mean, what happened to her doesn't sound like it was his fault. Not what he found out was true. That she got fucked up because of a fucked up drug her mother was taking when she was pregnant with her. Depression quickly followed on the heels of his anger. Unable to deal with any more of these thoughts, John just walked out without even replacing the microfilm. He drifted through the rest of the day, still stewing over what he had learned. At times, he could almost convince himself that this was a good thing. I wonder if because he left that microfilm in the, the viewer, I wonder if Lizzie was watching him in the library and actually went up to see what he saw. Good chance of that, huh? That's just a thought. If drugs had unbalanced Lizzie, maybe they could balance her out again. I mean, he could almost imagine them together, helping each other. Maybe even getting married. Wow, he's in love, guys. He's got to be in love. He's already thinking about marrying this girl. If drugs had unbalanced Lizzie, oh, that's the same thing. And when she passed him in the hallway, her eyes lit up. Not in mere elation, but with a burning intensity. And in that moment, John was sure that Lizzie could not be cured. The question was, did he want her to be cured? Because if she was cured, maybe she wouldn't like him. Several days later, as they were leaving after school, Lizzie caught up with him, an odd look on her face. John, I'm so happy. Really? I spent so long just watching you, imagining what it would be like to say hello, to hear you say my name, for you to look at me. That we can actually talk like this. It's like a dream. It's a wonderful dream I never wanted to end. I'm happy I met you too, Lizzie. This past week has been a lot of fun. Say, how is the Yandaquel? How's it working out for you? No unpleasant side effects? Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for getting it for me. Well, I hope we can find you some more once this dose runs out. Some drugs you can renew week to week, but I don't know about this one. It could be a pain. Oh no, I wouldn't want you to go to any more trouble for me. She's not taking it, I bet. But it's helping, right? I want you to be able to have more if you want it. Oh, that's sweet, but it's not necessary. It helped us get closer together, didn't it? That's enough. That's all I need. Oh boy. But John, we've been dating since you accepted my confession. But we've only done normal things. I love being with you every single moment. But can we do something more romantic? Uh-oh, she's wanting to get it on. They might as well. People already thought of them as dating, and she'd seemed so sweet for so long. What was the worst thing that could happen? The very thing that Miss Smith told you about, or that asked you about? Are you guys intimate? Please? We have a lot of options considering that we have all next week off. But we don't have to wait that long. How about we plan something for Friday night? I don't have a car to pick you up, but I can take you to a nice restaurant. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Good then, it's a plan. Friday, 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 Friday. She would still have a day or two of medication left on Friday, so John figured she would stay stable. Maybe the date would leave her happy enough that she'd change her mind after staying on her meds. No matter what mistakes her mother made, maybe Lizzie could be stable enough with the right treatment. John really thought this could work out between them. He's really liking her a lot. Wow, John, this place is so nice. As nice a place as they'll let a high school kids in with only a few days for reservation anyway. When I asked for a romantic place, I never dreamed it would be this romantic. I'm not dressed up enough for this. This is the kind of place you take someone to propose. Oh my. Just so it's clear, I'm not gonna propose, Lizzie. Aw, well, remember that this is a good place for it, okay? See a little blush in her. John could only hope that the place would be nice. All he knew about it was that his parents said it was nice back when they were together. Looks like a nice place. They entered and Lizzie was delighted by everything. The decor, the menu, the lighting, the food. Or maybe she was just really delighted with one thing. The event itself. Him taking her out to dinner. Fortunately, the staff seemed to find her adorable instead of disturbing. So John found himself relaxing. Even when they were just chatting idly, Lizzie was nice to be around. Midway through the meal, he realized that Lizzie was resting her hand on the table. She wasn't necessarily inviting it, but if he stretched, he thought he could put his hand on top of hers. So romantic. Take her hand or just keep talking? Well, look. John's never had a girlfriend. This girl thinks she's fucking madly in love with him, and I think he's starting to fall in love with her too. I mean, he might be depressed and she might be fucked up, but I say we enjoy this while we can. But I say we enjoy it as much as we can before she fucking kills him, right? Take her hand. Hell yeah. Enjoy the moment. Seize the moment. Seize the day. We never know what tomorrow might bring. We can only fear it. Enjoy it while you can. Take her fucking hand. Lizzie's eyes went wide when he touched her, and for a moment just staring as if she couldn't believe it. Look at that face. Now she's happy, but after a moment she gave him a brilliant smile and laced her fingers through his. Aww. Okay, he hadn't meant to do that, but John decided he would just awkwardly hold her hand while they ate. That certainly seemed to be Lizzie's intention. She actually wasn't getting a lot eaten, since she didn't talk with her mouth full and listen raptly whenever he talked, but at least she seemed to be having fun. And after a while, Lizzie patted at her mouth with her napkin and sighed in satisfaction. She didn't let go of his hand, though. That was so wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it was really good. No, not the food. The date, John. Oh, but I've made you talk so much. You haven't gotten to eat very much. Well, it's okay. No, I'll be quiet, and I'll just watch while you eat. It's a little awkward. So, Lizzie, how about you tell me where you live? Oh, it's not too special, just a house. Do you live with someone? I know not your parents, but are they other relatives? No, it's just me. Abby inherited the house, I think, and she didn't manage to sell it off when things got bad. Abby? My mother. She was an awful woman. I don't want to talk about her. It's a nice enough house, though, I suppose. Abby wrecked a lot of it, but I've been able to repair it with money from James. James is your father? I guess, but he never really cared enough to meet me. Abby always complained about him, and the checks, they don't always come. But I don't want to talk about that either. It's all horrible, isn't it? People who can't even pretend to be in love, they just tear into each other. That's not what I want. Not at all. When I fell in love with you, I knew that it would last forever. And John's speechless, like, wouldn't it be nice for us to get a house together, maybe even build one? Oh, so many choices. I just can't decide. But I want it to be something that we choose together, not something that we inherit. Some place where we want to live together forever. Maybe a big house, big enough that we can have lots of nice windows, but also rooms inside where no one can see us. Maybe a fountain. Lizzie giggled and squirmed in her seat as if she couldn't contain herself anymore. Her fingers in his gripped so tightly that it almost hurt. But now I'm just saying things. None of those things really matter. The only thing in our house that I really care about is you. It was the longest he had ever gotten her to talk about herself or her goals. And while it was still pretty focused on him, he didn't mind hearing the details. Well, that's a very nice image, Lizzie. Oh, I'm glad you think so. And you finished your food. Yeah, this has been so wonderful. Can we go now? Can we? Only slightly worrying about what she was thinking, John paid the bill, trying not to wince, and then they finally left the restaurant. They got into the bus, and Lizzie never let go of his hand the entire time. He began to wonder when she was going to actually let go, and that was when she leaned her head against his shoulder. This feels so nice. Yes, it does. Really? You enjoyed tonight? I did. It's not often that I get to hear you talk about things that you want. I mean, other than me. It felt ridiculous to say that, like some kind of boast, but a second later he realized that it might just be exasperating her problem, or at least making light of it. But Lizzie just considered his words thoughtfully, and then gave a slow nod. I've always wanted to know everything about you, John. I'm glad you want to know about me too. John, would you like me any less if I stopped taking the medicine? Shit, what was he supposed to say to that? John desperately racked his brain for a good answer. I like you, Lizzie. I like the person you really are. Is the person you are now the person you really are? Well, what do you mean? I mean, when I get depressed, I don't feel like myself, and the medicine changes me. But it's just to change me back to myself, who I really am. But it's not who you naturally are. Does it matter? I mean, we get to choose who we are. Otherwise, we're not really people, just animals. So, who are you, Lizzie? You do seem like a nice person now that I've gotten to know you. Is this not who you want to be? Do you feel better when you take the medicine? But you liked me tonight. Tonight was wonderful. I'm not suggesting that I didn't like you, but... Silly John, don't worry about it. I love you no matter what. Now, would you like to go see my house? John froze, not sure how to take the question. And then again, Lizzie had already seen his house, so maybe she just wanted to open up. He'd said he'd like to hear her talk about herself, and after all, if she was actually offering to let him into her life a little bit more, it would be stupid for him to turn it down. Sure, Lizzie, I'd love to see it. Oh, I'm sure you will. Absolutely sure. He'd planned to take her to her stop, just to be gentlemanly, but now John found himself getting off at the same place. Lizzie eagerly set off from the bus stop, looking back to make sure that he was following her. In the end, she led him to a small house. It was a cozy little thing, much warmer and more pleasant than he had expected. Here it is. Oh, it's cozy. Oh, you don't need to flatter my house, silly. All that matters is that we'll be here. She led him inside and showed him around, though it was very strange and erratic tour. He wondered if this was the first time she had ever showed someone inside her home. The inside of the house was less cozy than the outside, not because of the house itself, but because of how bare it was. A few rooms looked as though they had been used, but the rest looked like they were out of the catalog. It mimicked a house, but it didn't look like a place where anybody actually lived. The only thing that didn't match the catalog image was a heavy metal door off the side hallway. Lizzie didn't make the slightest reference to it, or even seem to notice that it existed. Huh, this picture, is it your mother? Oh, that. I forgot I even had that. Lizzie didn't seem to care, but John was curious enough to pick up the frame and take a closer look. He was surprised to find that his hand immediately coated. He was immediately surprised to find that his hand immediately coated in dust. That had to be years worth of dust. How could Lizzie have lived here for so long and never even disturbed the picture setting on a table like this? In any case, he could see where Lizzie got her good looks from, but other than that, she and her mother didn't look very much alike. There was something in Lizzie's eyes and posture that was just lacking in her mother. She was on the beach with some man. Neither of them looked like they were enjoying themselves. Maybe he was imagining things, but he could practically see the growing enmity between them. Absurdly, his mood began to decline. It was just a random relationship. From people he didn't know. It had nothing to do with him, yet the idea of people producing a child from a relationship they obviously cared so little about sent him into a spiral. John, you shouldn't be sad. Our house wouldn't have to look anything like this, you know. No, it's not that. It's just, don't worry. I want to be around you every second of every day of forever. But I know that wouldn't work out when we grow up. I can get a job. I'm good at lots of things. It will be sad being apart, but we can call each other at work and send each other things. And when we get home and see each other again after so long, it'll feel so good. Her picture of the future actually sounded nice, lifted a little of the cloud in his head, but he couldn't find a way to put that into words, so he just said nothing. Undeterred, Lizzie encouraged him into the living room and pushed him down onto a large couch. It hadn't seen much use, but it was free from dust, and it was gloriously soft. Uh-oh. She's pushing him down onto her couch, guys. You stay here, okay? Give me a moment to change out of this. Oh, wow. John swallowed and stayed where he was. He didn't have a lot of experience, but he'd heard his friends talk about their exploits. He thought a lot of it was lies, but there was something to what they said. Or was there something to what... Wait a minute, let me read this again. John swallowed and stayed right where he was on the couch. He didn't have a lot of experience. Yeah, with women. Yeah, boom, boom, chicka, chicka, boom, chicka, chicka. He didn't have a lot of experience, but he'd heard his friends talk about their experiences. He thought a lot of it was just lies, and it probably was. But there was there something to what they said? If Lizzie really came out wearing lingerie or something crazy, he didn't know what he would do. He honestly didn't know. I don't think she's going to come out in lingerie or naked or nothing. It's interesting. What do you guys think? What do you think, Rock and Roll? You think she's going to come out dressed all sexy? I don't know. Maybe. I think she's just going to come out in something comfortable. A t-shirt and shorts or something. I don't know. Part of him that had been asleep for a long time liked the idea, fantasized about what might happen, but another part of him was incredibly nervous to even consider the idea of being closer to her in that way. Probably in a nightgown. Lone Wolf is like, yeah, he's gonna get it on. He couldn't keep sitting there. His nerves would destroy him. Instead, John got up and began to look around the house more carefully. The dustiest part of the house seemed to have remnants of Lizzie's mother. At least he didn't think Lizzie would be into cheap little glass figurines. Opening one of the rooms, he discovered that it was an unused bedroom. He was about to go when he spotted another picture frame sitting beside the bed. Uh-oh. Oh my. This one featured Lizzie as a child, sitting on her mother's lap, and it struck him so strongly that he immediately went to look at it more carefully, not even caring what his hand got even dustier. So an old, super dusty picture of Lizzie on her mother's lap. That music though, man. Lizzie's mother was glowing and obviously proud of her daughter, while Lizzie ignored her entirely. No, not just ignored her. there was a flat emptiness to her eyes, as if they weren't even related. It didn't seem to stop her mother in the picture, but the distance between them was agonizing. You can see all that in a picture? Why would anyone keep a picture like that, much less frame it? John stared at it a while longer, and then set it down and left the room. Yeah, that's kind of awkward that a picture like that would be framed, but maybe that's one of the best pictures they had together. The look Lizzie had been giving her mother, those eyes shouldn't have belonged to another human child. John didn't want to think about it a second longer, so he rushed out of the room as fast as he could. Desperate for something to take his mind off that unpleasant thought, John looked around for anything else. The door next to the bedroom was jammed, but he wrenched it open. And he just stared. Uh-oh. The room was filled with pictures of him, his yearbook photos, but also lots of pictures of him in class. Pictures that she must have taken herself. Oh no, guys. This is actually giving me chill bumps now. This is fucking creepy now. Oh no. This is an obsession that is scary. She's been taking pictures of him for years. I mean, this is all stuff even us as, you know, readers of this visual novel kind of ignored. Because we saw them both having fun. We saw them both, you know, enjoying each other's company. We were happy for them. We didn't even want to think about the psycho involved in her. You know, the mental part. He needs to get out, run. She might wear him as a coat. Oh man, that music too. Can you guys hear the music well? Oh fuck, there were pictures of him sleeping in his own bed. She has pictures of him in his bed? For a moment, he just stood there, trembling. And then John snapped back to his senses. He immediately stepped back and closed the door, trying not to make a sound. He told himself he shouldn't be so surprised. He knew that she was obsessed. But still, it shook him. Yeah, still, I mean, it's even creeping me out just reading it. The music is great, by the way, guys. The music to this fucking visual novel is amazing. He was inside his stalker's house. John? Yeah, I just wandered off. I'm coming back. Good. There's something I want to show you. Oh, fuck. John. Oh, no. Listen to that music, guys. I gotta make sure you guys hear this fucking music. This is insane. John. Oh, God. She's got that fucking creepy ass look in her face again, and look, she's got a fucking axe, and she's not in lingerie or even a nightgown. She's dressed the same way. She went to get a fucking axe. Oh shit, what are you doing with that axe? Oh, you don't trust me, John? That makes me so sad. You think I'm gonna trust you when you're coming at me with a fucking axe? I tried to be patient. I just couldn't wait any longer. So, I need to take matters into my own hands. Hold still, John. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Yeah. Love Wolf is like, rip, beg, stand firm, or run. Fuck it, I'm out of here! Run! I would try to push her. I think I would try to knock her the fuck out and then run. There's no option to knock her the fuck out, push her, or anything. So, but what I would do is I'd fucking try to do something. Push her against the wall. Something. Fucking poke her in the eye. Do something to stun her, basically. And then run. But since there's not an option to stun, I'm just gonna fucking, yeah, exactly. Run, Forrest, run. He ducked low and sprinted for the door, heedless of crashing against the wall. "Don't run away." As he reached the front foyer, John dared to look behind him and saw that Lizzie was right on his heels, still smiling. He gave a strangled cry and tried to put everything he had into running, but it didn't matter. Lizzie kept pace with him, and then slamming into the door brought him short. Fuck, guys. I'm imagining this is like Dead by Daylight. You know how the fucking killers always walk faster than you, even when you're running. The killers in Dead by Daylight don't have to hit control to run. They just fucking move fast as shit. And you can be sprinting and still they're catching up with you. And that's kind of how I'm imagining this. Same thing in one of the old horror movies. You know, the Jason could just be walking and catch a fucking chick running for her life through the forest. You know, he'd wind up in front of her. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Yeah, The Shining, exactly. Oh no, blood? He groaned at the impact. She fucking hit him with the axe. And then he felt her axe go straight into his back. What kind of love is this, bitch? I thought you wanted to be with him forever. I thought you loved him and wanted to get a job and never be a second without him. Oh, man. She's like the pig in Dead by Daylight, exactly. John cried out in pain while Lizzie began crying. Ow! I can imagine it. Why, John? You were the only thing I had. The only thing. She kept speaking through her tears, but each word was fainter and fainter. Soon, all he could focus on was the metal of the axe so deep inside of him. And when that sensation faded, there was nothing left. Fuck, man. Game over. Achievement unlocked. Unsurprising outcome. Hope glimmers stronger on another path. Restart the game for a better result. So, the choices, as it says on the Steam page, guys, the choices we make determine the outcome. We're going to have to play this again, not tonight, but this is something you guys can do by going and buying the game yourself as well. The choices that you make can completely change the outcome that I got here. So I kind of got the feeling that we were just getting too wrapped up in being happy for them and going along with it all. I kind of have a feeling we need to start being more firm with this bitch. Like right there at the start when I didn't want to make her mad and shit like that. I should have made her mad and basically told her to fuck off. You know, I shouldn't have been nice to her because I didn't want to piss her off. Instead, I went along with things and then we started falling in love and then this was the result. Yeah, so if I could change things now, I would definitely go back and remember this. This is what happens when you're nice to this bitch. I wonder what happens if we're 180 degrees different and we basically have the fuck you approach to her. It is $9.99, guys. Yep. Man, that was good though. The only problem I really had with it was the only problem I really had with the game was that it kind of talked about him like in first person, like you thought you was reading from his perspective, and then it kind of switched back and forth randomly to like a third person perspective. So it was a little bit odd. The writing was good. I think the music was even better. The art was good, but I really didn't like how it went back and forth from like his perspective, his point of view, to like a third-person perspective, you know, like a book reading, you know, like from a different camera angle. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But yeah, it was good, guys. This is Crimson Gray. And not only does it getting a 96% positive review, it's going to get another positive review from me. John is a young man suffering from severe depression. As he loses his sense of purpose in life, he begins to see the world in an unfocused gray. Just when he begins to lose all hope, John meets a girl, a very special girl. Yeah, I'm probably going to do it again. Definitely. Maybe we'll do it again on a future live stream under the Moonshine. We kind of know how long it takes, and we'll definitely take a different approach. We know what happens when we're too nice. Yep. But I got to admit, during those moments where they were both happy, I was happy for them during those moments, but I did kind of have I was kind of a little bit scared that something was going to go, you know, go bad. Man, that was crazy good. We see now why this game's getting such a high review. This guy here has 4.5 hours. Let's just read this review here, guys, just out of curiosity. My thoughts through most of the game. So, this is what it feels like to date a Yandere that's madly in love with you from the start. I've played a lot of visual novels, and I'd say this is a fairly decent one. Well, nothing too special. I've seen my fair share of Yanderes, both male and female, with most of them wanting the MC to just stay locked up or sleep forever as theirs. Lizzie is a pretty good Yandere to have as a girlfriend, somewhat on par with Yuno, Gossi, or Myra, but slightly more reasonable. Still crazy as hell, though. Discretion is advised for those not comfortable with discussing mental issues, which is a huge part of the story. I recommend it on sale, since it's a pretty short visual novel. Literally the story of my life. I love the game, but it's difficult for me to justify the price. Yeah, $10 is a little bit steep for a 2-hour visual novel. I mean, I think most people, if you're reading it yourself, you're going to read it a lot faster than, like, listening to me read it to you. Like, if I would have been reading this to myself, I probably could have read it in an hour and a half. But, and there's also, again, guys, there is a, let's see. Oh, you won't get this complete bundle. I already own this. That's why the bundle's so cheap for me. Yeah, you can get 20% off if you buy the complete bundle, so it'd be like $12 to get the bundle. And then you get the sequel as well that just came out. But yeah, I'll probably get I'll probably play this again, and at some point I'm definitely going to buy this Dusk and Dawn as well. A slice of life visual novel with the emphasis on the slicing. Play as the mentally unstable young woman with blood on her hands trying to adapt to a normal life. So in this one, you play as the young woman with blood on her hands trying to adapt to a normal life. Wow. And that one's getting 100% positive reviews. Interesting. Yeah, that was a good book. Yeah, probably not the best visual novel I've ever read, but it was definitely had me into it. The music was really good. I think the music was probably the best part of it, to be honest. But yeah, guys, that was pretty awesome. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It is kind of depressing. I mean, it is about depression, so you expect the depression to, you know, make it kind of a depressing visual novel to read. But I thought it was pretty good. I think it could have been written better. I don't know if it was written by somebody that's not a writer or what, but they got their point across. I mean, even though they was going back and forth from third person perspective to first person and stuff like that, the story itself was really good, even though if it wasn't, you know, it wasn't written like by a professional author or whatever. I thought it was good. Yeah, Panzer Hearts was better. I agree, Rock and Roll. Panzer Hearts was definitely better. And Panzer Hearts was this is a $10. This is a $10 fucking visual novel. Panzer Hearts is a better novel and it's half the price. The sad thing is it only has 18 reviews. Panzer Heart still only has 18 reviews. You can see that I reviewed it, and I gave it a good review. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I'd give it about an 8.5 out of 10. It'll make you ponder the value of love, family, and freedom, and it will also break your heart. Well worth the purchase price. Yep. All right, guys. Maybe we'll play it again here in the future. Like Panzer Hearts, I don't think really had huge. I don't know. It might have big differences in how you play it, but I really feel like this one we played tonight, Crimson Gray, I think it could be completely different if we had made some different decisions. You reviewed it as well? Nice, man. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Remember that we have Zombie Exodus, which is getting really, really fucking good. Zombie Exodus is amazing. It doesn't have the pictures, but it doesn't have the music, you know. But man, I really feel like if Zombie Exodus, if they would go and make Zombie Exodus into a visual novel with really good art and music when it gets dramatic, man, fucking Zombie Exodus could probably sell a hell of a lot better, because people like pictures and people like the music and everything. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys liking, if you know, watching this, and if you haven't already liked my video, make sure you give me a like, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you again. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. Peace out.